Hello and welcome to this video where I'll be sharing with you some of the most useful tips that you can use in your UBC application. If you're currently working on your UBC application, you're exactly in the right place. I'm going to be sharing with you all the knowledge I gained from doing my own application, and I highly encourage you to stay till the end if you want to learn about some of the common mistakes that I feel like a lot of people make and how to avoid them. So I'm going to go ahead and start with giving you an overview of what the personal profile is. Now, if you know what it is already, feel free to skip around. There are going to be timestamps in the description, so if you want, you can just feel free to move on to the next section. But for those of you who haven't heard of the personal profile before, I'll just give you a brief overview. So if you're doing other applications for other universities, you've probably seen that a lot of them are going to require supplemental applications, especially if you're applying to things like engineering or business. Those majors usually have a bunch of supplemental applications. For example, solder, as you may know, on top of the personal profile and the 2 additional questions that you have to answer, there's a video interview. And basically, this supplemental application is a place for you to showcase your experiences, interests, values, skills, even challenges you faced along the way, and any valuable lessons that you've learned throughout your education, even outside your education, and basically just an opportunity to, I want to say, brag about yourself and show the admission officers that you're more than just a bunch of numbers on a paper. Next thing I would like to quickly touch on is the importance of the application. I sort of mentioned this in the previous section, but I just want to say that this is the place where admission officers are going to be able to assess qualities like your leadership, your resilience, and engagement. And these are all very important qualities for UBC. These are things that you want to make sure you're demonstrating through your experiences and the stories you're sharing in your personal profile. I would like to quickly shout out the sponsor of this video. Ufully has kindly sponsored this video once again, and I just want to say, if you're looking for coaching services or even free resources like templates, not only for UBC but any university, any major, feel free to go check out their services. There's gonna be a link in the description, as always. And if you're looking for personal profile questions, they break them down beautifully on their website. I personally use that website quite a lot when I was doing my own application. They have examples on there, prep tips for interviews and other things. That's your way, and I highly encourage you to check out both their coaching services and their other free resources. Next up, we have the UBC's evaluation rubric, and this is something you can actually access on UBC's website. So UBC says on their website that their main 4 criteria are engagement and accomplishment, leadership, substance, and voice. So I'm going to quickly go over what each one of them means and how you could demonstrate those qualities in your application. So first off, I'm going to start with engagement and accomplishment. For this section, you want to make sure you're using specific examples, and you don't want to just list a bunch of activities that you've been involved in. What you want to do is talk about what you've taken away from those experiences, because that's what really matters. Next off is leadership. This is super important to UBC because once you join UBC, you're going to be expected to show initiative and sort of show that you're also capable of leading others in your group projects or even outside of classroom. So it's always amazing that if you are able to demonstrate that through any activities you've done. Next would be substance, and this is about showing the admission officers that you have really taken the time to reflect on the questions that they're asking you. They want that your answers should reflect who you are, what you value, and where you want to be in life. So just really make sure to be spending a lot of time on actually just reflecting on what the questions means and who you are. We really want to demonstrate your self-awareness through your answers. And lastly, we have voice. And voice is all about two things: authenticity and uniqueness. It's one of the common mistakes that I'm going to be talking about at the end of the video is that a lot of people focus too much on what they think that mission officers want to hear. That's a huge mistake, because if you do that, then you're just going to sound like a robot. What you want to do instead of that is be authentic, be true to yourself, and just be you. Next thing I want to go over is the STAR method, which is a super effective strategy for talking about your experiences. You can't only use this for the UBC personal profile, but actually just anything like interviews. And I feel like it's something that you're probably going to hear about for the rest of your life just because of how effective it is. I'm going to quickly go over on how it works, but if you want to know more about it, you can actually go to Youfullys' website. They beautifully break it down and give beautiful examples, so just check that out if you need more information on this. But basically the STAR method is it stands for situation, task, action, and result. So situation is about the context of the situation. So let's say you're talking about a specific experience you've had. The situation is the context of that experience. Task is what you sort of had to do about it, or what the basically what the problem was. Action is what you did about it. So you can go through the different steps you took. And lastly, there is the result, which is both the outcome, and I feel like this is the most important part, because it's not only about the outcome, but it's also about what you learned. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, what you want to do is really emphasize the lessons you learned from your experiences, because that's the most valuable part. And now, as promised, I'm going to go over some of the common mistakes that students often make and how we can avoid them. So first off, we have not saving your answers beforehand. And if you haven't been to, I believe it's called BC Education Planner or something like that, if you haven't been to the website before, you wouldn't know this, but you can't actually save your answers there. So what you want to do when you're working on your application is create a Google Doc or a Word doc, whatever works for you. Save your answers there, go back, edit, proofread, whatever you need to do, and only put your answers in the website once you're actually ready to submit. And that brings me to my next point, which is make sure to submit your application at least, I want to say, preferably 48 hours before the actual deadline. And there's a very good reason for this. I feel like this is not talked about as much as some of the other tips I'm going to be sharing, but because a lot of people are going to be submitting their applications near the deadline, the website often takes a lot of time to actually take in the applications when they're being submitted near the deadline. So this can be very stressful if like you are 1 hour away and the website is giving you an error message because the 1,000 or maybe more students are trying to also submit their applications. So that's my second tip right there. Submit your application a little bit before the deadline. Next tip would be to start early. And I know that during school there are going to be a lot of different responsibilities that you have to take care of. So starting early really gives you a lot of time to reflect on your answers and just go through them with a sound mind, and that's just gonna help you create the best answers. So start early. That's everything for this video. I really hope that the tips I shared are able to help you feel more confidence in yourself and your personal profile. And if you found this video helpful, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to check out Youfullys' free resources and coaching services. And I wish you the best of luck with your application. Feel free to reach out to me if you need any help. I'm always happy to help. And yeah, you got this.